Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit more about how diseases are transmitted. So we've talked about all our different pathogens and parasites and how they can spread disease. So we're going to talk about vectors, vehicles, and carriers. So vector is the first one we're going to mention. So this is a living thing that transmits disease. So ticks, mosquitoes, those parasites are traditionally considered a vector. So if a disease is spread through a vector, through a living thing that can carry it, it's considered a vector-borne disease. Now, a vehicle is just a non-living thing that transmits disease. So pens, hamburgers, if I'm drinking out of my water bottle and then and I put my mouth on the cap and then someone else borrows it and they put their mouth on the cap and I'm catching a cold and then they're catching a cold, the water bottle mouthpiece is considered a vehicle. Same thing if I sneeze on my hand and I'm catching a cold and then I grab a pen and I start writing with it and my friend grabs that pen and that cold germ is spread using that pen would be considered a vehicle. Alright. And we also have carriers. So these can carry a disease without being infected themselves. So these are mostly people who are immune to illnesses or who haven't had, especially a virus, if it hasn't started reproducing in their cells yet, but they're carrying it around with them, which means they can pass it on to other people the same as if they had it. So our kind of big example here is Typhoid Mary. So Typhoid Mary carried the typhoid fever to those she cooked for. So she was a cook and she had typhoid fever, but didn't show any of the symptoms. It wasn't affecting her, but she was carrying it. And so everyone she cooked for, she passed on typhoid fever. So when we say someone's like a Typhoid Mary, it means that they're kind of the start of all of the problems, of all of the sickness, and they spread it around. So that's become a common phrase, but it's because she was a carrier. So the same way many of my students know that I'm actually immune to strep throat, that doesn't mean that I can't carry the strep bacteria around with me. So even though strep throat isn't affecting me, even though I don't have the symptoms, if I have the bacteria, I can pass that bacteria on by sharing water bottles or by coughing on something. So it's, a good reason to wash your hands and to make sure that you're staying on top of preventing the spread of germs the best you can, because you can't always tell when someone is carrying a disease.